In this episode, we're going to be talking about new levels of self-care.
I'm Sienna.
And I'm Toast.
We've been partners in life, love, and music since 2001, and we believe life is best lived as a love story. Your love story.
After all, to love well is to live well. For more, check out siennaandtoast.com. But for now, here's this episode. Coming to you from 39 Days in Self-Quarantine. We're recording this on Monday, April 20th, less than 24 hours from the intended publish time, which is very unusual for us.
I know. Batching hasn't quite worked out like I thought it would.
You would think
But
we
also-
would have more time in self-quarantine to batch podcast episodes, but no.
You would think so.
We have not done it.
However, I have been finding that there's this thing happening where I've actually felt quite, what is that called? Like focused
Oh,
and just getting so much done. With the exception of batching the podcasts. I feel like Saturday and Sundays have been so full, getting all types of things on the spectrum done, different things than what's happening during the weekdays.
I do think that our house has generally been cleaner during the self-quarantine. I feel like I've spent more time cleaning. So I've been enjoying that. Cleaner, just overall, not that it was filthy or anything before.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with your time? Not record podcast episodes. You're going to clean.
I feel like I have been, well, you know what? I think also too, it has so much to do with how you shop these days.
Yeah, right.
That takes up time. How you receive your groceries and deliveries, that takes up time. So I think
All
a
of
lot
the
of time is going to that
sanitizing.
kind of stuff. Yeah. But I also feel like because there are no options to leave the house,
Right.
it's like we do have more time.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm filling that time with a lot of things. Like this past weekend,
You made two different types of cookies?
I made 2 types of vegan cookies, sugar-free cookies. I made, the other week, I made those matcha green tea things for your mom. So I feel like I'm doing more domestic type things.
Yes, we're becoming more domesticated.
But I don't know what happened yesterday that we're doing the podcast today. Oh, I know what happened. We actually have created, we took a bunch of the great journals and candles and things that we have on our store, and we created some gift sets.
In time for Mother's Day.
Yeah. So hopefully, actually that should be up today.
Yes, I'm
think
going
it
to
should
work
be
on,
today, right?
I'm going to polish it
Or
off.
something, yeah.
Get it all ready and
So-
set it live. So by the time you're hearing this podcast episode, which is being released on Tuesday, April 21st, these gift sets will be on siennaandtoast.com.
And what's so exciting is that we have discounted these items and we will be having free shipping. So take advantage of that. We are really clearing out our inventory to make room for something very exciting that will be coming soon.
And these are in very limited quantities.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these
Some
we
of
just
it just have one. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like it, get it.
Right.
Well,
Go ahead. Yes. We're both so eager to just yakety yak.
Well, this is what I'll say. So one of the strange things that Toast and I have found ourselves doing on not just one occasion, not just 2 occasions, but I think at this point now there have been 3 occasions
She's counting.
where
folks.
we have been just mesmerized, frightened, and delighted at various times looking at owls.
Pictures, photos of owls,
Yes.
videos of owls. And let
It's
me
crazy.
expand. It's also included for me just nature shows. Like yesterday, I learned that there is such a creature that goes by the name of the Malaysian kalugo.
Oh, the squirrel
He
bat.
looks like a flying squirrel, like a parachute with limbs. Mm-hmm. Who knew?
Yeah.
There's also the mud skipper.
Mm-hmm. Who scoops up mud with his giant mouth and just like shovels it and then just spits it out to create a mud pool.
Yeah, the mud skipper is a fish whose front fins can act as legs to kind of...
Oh, yeah, it walks.
Yeah. Like drag themselves across mud.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fascinating to me. I love watching nature shows. It helps us to watch them together as a couple if these nature shows don't include long drawn out scenes of hunting and killing of other animals.
Or short scenes.
Or even short scenes. Yeah, that's true.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. But I love nature shows, and so owls have been part of the viewing
I do need to share
schedule.
That Bear has some playlists on YouTube of shows that he watches. And sometimes, YouTube will suggest something. And one day when I was looking for his playlist, YouTube said, hey, how about this one with baby owls at a water, what is that called?
A bird bath.
Like a bird bath. How about that? I think you would like this one. So we clicked on it. And Toast and I were just like, oh my God, they're so cute. They're so cute. Oh my gosh, look at how cute. Look at how cute. Look at how cute. And then because we watched that one, YouTube went, hey, you might like this one.
Of the great gray owl.
We clicked on it, and that one almost gave us nightmares.
And we call this
gray owl.
And we call this like, this is Bear's videos. No, these are our videos at this point.
So then yesterday, after we were watching the mud skipper and the smooth
Malaysian
otter,
kalugo, the smooth otter.
After we watched that, for some reason, why were we talking about bird legs?
I think it just prompted. I think the
about...
nature show just kind of prompted you to go looking at your owl pictures again and just searching for. No,
I think you were showing me. Weren't you showing me bird legs? I think you showed me something from Twitter that was bird legs, and then I was like, I said owls. You were showing me owl legs, and I'm like, no, owl legs. Or you said, oh, look at these owl legs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are they thick and furry? And I kind of frightened myself. And then you said, no, they're not thick and furry. And you showed them to me.
Yeah.
And then I went, no, owl legs can be thick and furry.
Depends which owls you're talking about.
So I looked it up and I showed you the great gray owl's legs that are really thick and furry and long, feathery. And you were kind of frightened by it. And then Google knows what I'm looking up. And then it showed me these, then the next frightening thing is the baby barn owls.
Which look like what
aliens.
Humans imagine aliens to
ghosty
be like.
aliens. Because baby barn owls, when they are born, they don't have a lot of feathers. And if you know a barn owls have so much beautifully streamlined.
They have that oval face.
Like the heart-shaped face.
The heart-shaped face, yeah.
And it looks their feathers are so smooth and none out of place, but they have a lot of feathers. But when they're born, they don't have any feathers and just maybe little tufts of
lots of down. It looks like a lot of downy type.
They're
of
trying to grow in, So they basically look like a bald bird, a bald bird with little tufts of white fluff, and then as it grows, more feathers come up, but they still look pretty like had it in like a wreck. Because it's just all puffing up and it's not very symmetrical. And then as they get older, it really takes its shape. And then they look like their beautiful barn owl heart-shaped
barn owl selves. I love their faces. They're amazing.
But I will say, go ahead and Google the great gray owl. Look at his legs. Report back to us. And then the next thing, look up baby barn owls, no feathers.
And that's your homework this week.
And you'll see why we were frightened.
While you are in self-quarantine. Yeah. So I don't know if anybody can relate, but yeah, I love nature shows because you get exposed to all of this, quote unquote, unusual animals. And I love that they're really not unusual. We're just not exposed to them.
Yeah.
In, the Western education of this is a horse, this is a dog, this is a chicken, Okay. So that's why I just love nature shows. It just really brings home and helps to shake me awake to the wonderful world that we are a part of, that we are living participants in.
Yeah, I love, I remember that show we saw where we learned about the Japanese swimming cat or
fishing cat.
Fishing cat. That it has webbed feet.
Yeah.
And that they're highly...
Not crazy.
Vicious.
Like it actually, it'll go into rivers and...
But that they're beautiful.
Fish, like grab fish. What the heck?
And they look like a bobcat and mackerel cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Fishing cat. What? Yeah. So yes, the wonders of the actual world that we live in. Happy Earth Day in advance.
Okay.
So, the topic this episode, right? Mm-hmm. New levels of self-care.
Okay. So hang on. I know there's so much talk about self-care now.
That's one of the buzzwords of this era. Yeah. Self-care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we are talking about things beyond the welcomed bubble bath. Mm-hmm. We are talking about things beyond the effective gratitude list. Mm-hmm. And we are also talking about things beyond the extremely helpful daily meditation moments.
Yeah, we want to go beyond just the checklist of here are 5 great ideas for self-care, right? We want
and some of these things might be just more surface in a way, still, some of them.
Okay.
But it's really more tailored. This list was really tailored for this time that we're living in now with COVID. So just keep that in mind. Okay, we might not necessarily pick these things if we weren't all going through this right now.
Okay.
So, but one of the things is something I was seeing a lot on social media is, hey, if you're wearing jeans during this time, what are you trying to prove?
Which cracks me up because I'm wearing jeans.
And I am too. But so here's what I would say. I know a ton of people are out there just wearing sweatpants and, just being really comfy. And comfy is fantastic. Like, be comfortable, right? And enjoy that. Enjoy being comfortable.
Yes.
But I would really urge you to at least get out of your pajamas. There's comfy clothes that don't need to be your pajamas.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm, and so much of that is helpful to just tell yourself, okay, I'm ready for the day. I'm ready for the day. Let's go.
It's your uniform for action.
Yes.
And your uniform for being more sharp. And that's something that I love is that whole enclothed cognition thing. Like when you put on certain kinds of clothes, because we're holistic integrated beings, it really does help you to take on a certain point of view, a certain attitude, an internal energy.
I really think so.
Even just as actors, right, on a stage or on a TV set and stuff like that, they talk about too how when they get their costume, it really helps them to take on
the role.
That role. Yeah. And I can totally see how that's true. Like when I put on the clothes that I'm going to use to work out, that's the first step. And I know that if I just do that, it'll help me get more in the mood to work out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am here to say that, and here's something I am admitting. Okay. I am admitting this.
All right.
Okay.
Get ready.
So when we first moved up to Portland, I had a really hard time. And I think that was in 2018 when we moved up here. It's also when we picked up the podcast again. Mm-hmm. But I bet none of you knew that I was probably in my pajamas and robe recording the podcast, but probably for almost a year. Okay, this is like real. I'm speaking very openly about. So there was a lot to adjust to. There were things I wasn't used to. My body took kind of a crash with the different weather from Portland versus Southern California, and I felt like in this cocoon of depression in a way. And so I could not even get ready for the day. So I'd be in a robe and my pajama pants and, like almost the whole day. So I get it. I get like going, okay, I'm no ways. I'm not putting on jeans.
And just so that you listeners know, we work from home.
Oh yeah. We work from home. Yeah. It's easy to be in a
yeah. So Sienna, even prior to the self-quarantine period, even prior to that, Sienna could, afford to still show up for work in a robe.
I could. So, so I get wanting to be comfortable. Although that really wasn't my intention before. It was really like getting ready just felt like, oh my God, I cannot even get ready. So perhaps, if you're on that level of the spectrum of what everyone is feeling right now with COVID, of course, cut yourself some slack. We're not forcing anyone to do anything. But all we are saying is that, we do recognize that a level of self-care can be to just get ready for the day, still be comfortable, but maybe instead of wearing the sweatpants with the hole in it, you can wear one that doesn't have a hole in it.
Or if you decide to put on actual pants,
that's me, sorry.
Okay. If you decide to put on actual pants or jeans.
Oh, please put on pants, people.
I'm saying instead of sweatpants.
Oh, okay.
Or pajama pants.
Okay.
You can do what I do sometimes, which is unbutton the button.
Oh, to just like relax your stomach out. Like let your stomach be out.
With pants on.
Yes, that's very true. But anyways, that's all we're saying with that.
I like that.
Because that kind of helps you like, okay, you know what? I'm ready for the day. And some people have this thing where it's like, well, no one's going to see me. But think about the people in your house. They're seeing you and you're seeing you.
And right. And don't you think so much of this talk about like how to dress, even in the privacy of your own home, even if you live alone?
It's to feel good.
With you and your dog or you and your cat or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. So much of this is we're talking about the inner experience, the inner state of how you feel about yourself and how your day went and the widening or narrowing of the spectrum of experience that you can have, even if you have to stay in the house all day.
Right. And even color, right? Wearing certain colors and, can be really energizing and uplifting. And so anyways, be comfortable, but maybe get out of your pajamas for the day during COVID. All right. Okay. So another thing is, I think for people who haven't worked from home before and they are home now and all this kind of stuff, and they're home with their families and partners and things like that, and it's 24/7, you might think it's impossible to have a schedule or create a routine, but no, you must. You must. Don't just like let it be whatever it is and just let it happen when it's going to happen, because that really is the surefire way to set yourself up for crazy making.
Yeah. Really. And it can be simple, a loose schedule.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps to have some clean edges around certain tasks. Or I find what works for me is to have certain targets time-wise. Like, let's say I'm going to set my iPhone alarm for 40 minutes. And I'm going to work on learning this certain software for 40 minutes. That kind of thing. Yeah. We're creating clean lines in that way.
And then you can also to create, just segment your day. So, your morning, so a morning chunk of the day could be maybe your spiritual time and maybe exercise. And then a big middle part of your day could be, okay, this is all the work stuff. And then maybe late afternoons could be, okay, let me just start returning some emails. I mean, it depends on what you do for your work, if you have kids, other family members maybe you're taking care of, but absolutely strive for a routine or schedule. And if that feels too regimented for you, then at least set an intention for your day as far as, okay, this is what I would like for my day. I'd like to make sure I get to 1, 2, 3 things.
Oh, right. Like set goal, like targets, right? Like
targets,
set targets that you're going to knock down. Yeah.
I think that's really important because it's, what does that sound? Okay, I don't know.
Somebody's riding a moped past our house.
Because I know that when I first started working from home, it was hard. It was hard to not go and do a load of laundry or let me just clean this area or let me, you're doing all these things when you're just trying to cultivate the habit of sitting at your desk between a certain time and a certain time and staying focused and working. Mm-hmm. So
I do find it helpful, let's say, 40 minutes of learning a new software, right? That was my example before. Mm-hmm. And then after 40 minutes,
shifting
to get up and take a break. And and you know what? Put a load of laundry in the washer.
Yes.
Just do a different type of brain activity, and then come back. Yes, there's more housework that you could do at that time, but no, just use it as a break and then come back to that certain mental type of focus. I think that's one of the huge benefits of being able to do your work from home is you can get done your domestic chores throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, what I was talking more about is when you're avoiding your work.
Right.
And then you're just like, you're walking by, then you're like, oh, well, let me do a load. Let me, I better go do those dishes. And it's less, you're less intentional about it. You're just kind of like looking around and going, maybe I should do that.
Just reacting
versus doing your work. Yeah. So absolutely. Like, I think your example with like because you can't stay focused that long.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what they say, right? You start to work against yourself if you're going, no, I have to sit here and stare at this computer and do X amount. You have to get up, walk around. Yeah. And if that entails, doing the 5 dishes that are in the sink and then going back to your desk, then that's what it entails.
Yeah. But having an intentional structure.
Yes.
Whether it's time-based or task-based, or intervals. It does feel, when I have a day that's so much more intentional in that way versus less, it varies. But when I have a day that is more intentional that way, at the end of the day, I feel really good.
I know.
I feel like, wow,
too.
I used my time wisely.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that day back.
Right.
And it helps to feel the authority that you have over your time and your actions and your where your attention is going. That's huge.
Progress. Making progress.
Yeah.
Okay. Then another one. This one is a big one, especially if you are an empathic kind of a person. Boundaries. So, and I guess, you know what? I will say that having healthy boundaries is a 24/7 all the time type of thing. It's not just a COVID thing, but because we are not seeing people face to face and in person, everyone is really Zooming, everyone is FaceTiming, and it's all this stuff that's live, right? And it's more than ever now. So it's kind of like, let's just still maintain your boundaries. Like just because you maybe decline a Zoom or FaceTime, someone's calling you, they're FaceTiming you, it's okay to decline those, everyone's on a different schedule right now. Everyone has different things they're doing from home, working from home, all of that stuff. And yes, we should use technology to maintain some type of connection and to keep that going. But still, at the same time, know what works for you and your energy levels. You know, one of the things that that I think is equally as effective in connecting is using one of those apps. Like, first of all, you can email someone. Okay. Maybe email is too old fashioned, but you can email someone. You can text someone, you know, maybe that's not enough for some people because they can't see your face. But then you can also, instead of FaceTiming, where you have to rely on someone being available at that exact time that you are, you can maybe utilize an app called Marco Polo, which is like video texting. So then that way, you know, when you have the energy for people and you're like, hey, I want to reach out to so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, you can do all your Marcos and text them with these videos, and then they can get back to you when they can get back to you. And then we're less, we're less reactive to, oh my God, someone's FaceTiming me. Or when you get the email Zoom notification, oh no, they want to do a Zoom on, I already have 2 Zooms on that day.
That's what I think is so funny is I saw some article, some blog article, I think it was on Apple News or something about like how to respond, like how to get out of a live video chat meeting when you clearly have no other plans.
I
right?
know.
It's like so, that.
Yes, yes.
So maybe it's calling upon each of us, especially the empaths, to, again, exercise our personal authority and not feel so much shame about saying, no, I thank you for the invitation. Can we reschedule or can we do Marco Polo instead? This particular time I have set aside for my self-care or whatever, right?
And also, too, you don't even need to give a reason.
Right. You don't need to give a reason. Or the reason can simply be that time doesn't work for me.
How about this time instead? Yeah. And another thing for people who don't like video, you can also consider the app Voxer, which is kind of like a walkie-talkie texting. So, and sometimes it's so silly because you're like, well, how is that different than voicemail?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's voicemail basically.
But then if you call someone and they answer,
then you're like,
answer. Well, I wasn't really ready for live talking.
I wasn't really calling you.
I wanted to connect with you. But anyways, so, it's just a weird time. It's just a really weird time. So, but you might be feeling just exerted with all this live,
and all of us having to show up on
needing
camera
to
now.
Be ready.
Come on.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So just know what works for you. Don't be ashamed of it. Utilize all the different apps out there and let that be enough.
It is enough.
Because don't forget, with everything happening right now in the world, do not think that it's not taking its toll. I mean, for some of you, you might be going, oh, of course, no, it is taking its toll. But for some other people, you might not really feel, you're still doing maybe you've always worked from home. Maybe you've always ordered in your groceries. I don't know what. But it's like there is still this stress level that we're all
constant
getting used to now. That is constant. It's constant.
Yes.
So don't underestimate the effects of that.
And a little sidebar of a political nature that I just need to insert here.
Okay.
This is on top of the constant new quote unquote normal that has happened since a guy named Donald Trump became president of the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the end of my political sidebar.
You kept that clean. You kept that pretty clean.
Well, the people I'm talking to know what I mean.
Okay, so then the last thing we'll say about really up-leveling your self-care during this time would be to tell your story.
This is like a really outlier in the list.
It is.
And maybe, you know,
it's
what?
so important, though.
Yeah.
While we're all connecting and everyone is feeling more, you know, vulnerable. I think people are feeling more vulnerable these days. It's to consider sharing your story with someone that is safe. Number one, absolutely, someone that is safe that doesn't yet know your story.
That's a challenge.
It can be. Yeah.
Another option would be just getting clearer about your own story with yourself. Like, I feel like I need to do that.
Yep.
You know, I guess, you know, that's our entire lives, right?
Yeah.
We're
it is about your story.
We're discovering
rewriting your story.
Yeah, discovering and learning our own story. And what we mean by that is identifying and getting clearer about the relationships or events that have happened in our past that have really shaped our outlook and how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about the world and what life is like. Like for myself, I know I had an experience when I was in early elementary school that in retrospect, I realized, wow, I think that really imprinted upon me the message that, hey, you can try as hard as you can. You can try with all your might. You can give it everything you've got, and it still won't be enough. And at the time, I couldn't have articulated that.
Yeah.
But I think that particular experience, it was a playground game. And, you know, I gave it all I had. Didn't matter. You know, that was the experience that I took from it. And I feel like in many ways, I have repeated that experience in my life because it made such an impact, you know.
And it's there to be healed, right?
Yeah, or to be reinterpreted, you know, because one of the ways that I'm in the process of reinterpreting it is really finding genuine, authentic fulfillment and reward, not in the outcome of how something turns out, but really finding and experiencing this deep meaning and fulfillment in the process of whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of how it turns out. And I think that's why the quality of discipline and self-discipline is so important to me, is because I feel like if I bring, or if I'm able to enact a sense of discipline and self-mastery in a endeavor, that in itself is an expression of a success or a good quote unquote outcome, regardless of how the material outcome turns out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how they say, what is that quote? It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
I never
or happiness is all along. Happiness is not at the end of the journey. It's all along the way.
I really, I only started to really take that in a real way, like in the past several years, really. Like really viscerally understanding and having experiences of that. Like, oh, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
You know, and I think maybe people who, you know, set all these goals and are driven in a way or were raised that way, that's kind of like one of the big lessons.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
To like, hey, you know what? Chill out a bit, relax, enjoy the process.
Right.
You know, be present.
For real.
You know, it's not just about achieving it and checking it off and all that. All right.
But that's an example of one's story.
Yes.
All right. So,
okay.
hopefully that gives you something
something until next week
to chew on. New levels of self-care. And please do take care of yourself and your loved ones. Yes, we send you all of our best wishes and our best thoughts for safety and health in this crazy time. Okay. Well, until next time,
this is Sienna.
And this is Toast. As always, inviting you to come and live your love story.